सुरमई शाम जिस तरह
एक मिनट
सुरमई शाम जिस तरह आए सांस लेते हैं जिस तरह साए। कैसा है?
खा के देखो पता चल।
गाना कैसा है पूछ।
Is there some beauty in forgetting? Like, do you think, like we were discussing about documenting everything, we document the grand moments, we document the really everyday kachra moments, and we have no judgment anymore on what we are documenting and what memories we are holding on to. So, what is important and what isn't important in the long term in terms of memory? Like for Shelja, what would she wish that will be the last memories to go when, and what even for us, like what is something that we need to keep in mind?
So I want to tell you something which basically has nothing to do with this, but it'll link back to what you're saying. When I was really young, my mother told me something because I used to be this nasty little kid. I would remember everything bad everyone did to me. And I would write it down in my diary. I was just a vindictive little person. And my dad was a really problematic person because he had his own story and whatever childhood trauma. And my mother sat me down. She read my diary. First of all, Ma, if you ever listening, that was not okay. You should not have done that. Though she still says she did the right thing. And she sat me down. This is 15-year-old me. She's like, listen, Piyu, how you remember things is how you curate things. How you will remember your life is what you were choosing to remember.
Yes.
I have never forgotten what my mother said. I was obviously not understanding anything. She's like, you have written down every single bad thing that has happened to you. Are you trying to tell me that nothing good has happened to you? So memory in a way is your curation of your life.
Yes.
And everything you remember is going to add up to what you feel about yourself. So curate your memories carefully because it can be the difference between you being a sad, bitter, angry person and you feeling like you've lived a fulfilled life, because good things and bad things happen to everyone.
You know, there's this whole thing that, you know, even our memories fade normally. It's just, you know, everything gets. I just feel that when you have a lot of grief or you've got, like, it's like what you said about trauma, those are the things that actually stay, like, almost like photographs. And when you know, if she visits her old home, firstly, it's not been redeveloped, whereas anywhere else you go, everything is just changing, right? And it still stands.
worst.
And also, they just welcome you. We'll have a conversation about that off camera. And, you know, she's also welcomed into it without any question. Yeah, you wouldn't know. But somebody came and said, oh, I used to live in your house. I'd be like, yeah, stay outside, bro. You're not. So there's this reminder, not just of the old house, but of her old life. Like, they've opened the doors to her. And only that moment where that lady tells her that, oh, we cut down the guava tree and they've cemented it over. That sense of loss is very, like, poetic. And, you know, because people move on, things move on. And then when you come to that moment at the well, you're not expecting it. You don't know is going to happen. And there's this whole thing that, you know, memory, like, you know, it really feels like the bottom part of the sand in the hourglass, because as it's filling, like, your life is running out. And this whole thing, like, until then, it's all about her love, but you don't realize she's also revisiting grief.
So this is actually the part of the story that Avinash brought, like I said in the beginning. And so when I looked at this holistically about revisiting your love, the well and her discomfort with it was that one of the best parts of her life was locked in along with one of the worst parts of her life. And the fact that she had blocked it for so long. She blocked the good and the bad. And in the end, when you see her going back to the well and standing there, she's embraced all of it. So that is the final closure of her journey, where she accepts everything she's been through, her trauma and her sweetheart and her past and all of it.
So, okay, let's talk about the location in the film, all right? Because it's very much a character in the film. And it feels a little stuck in time itself. It's almost metaphorical. And why did you choose Vengurla?
Okay, this was not at all me.
Okay.
This was my director. He comes from the Konkan belt,
lovely.
and he knows this area so well. And he just, it's like, even when I was writing the story, he was sending me visual references. Like, we had photos of the coastline, of the temples. That's just all him.
Oh, brilliant.
And Omkar, who came in and wrote the second pass on the film, he is also from there. So that's why
That's
the
why there's
milieu is so strong, because, you know, that's where the story unfolds, and Avinash is just the most spectacular visual storyteller one can have. Like,
it
that's
feels it. You feel like you're there.
like
It's
we
really it's
knew
immersive.
the
Yeah.
visual landscape while even we were conceptualizing the story.
You know, it's about this time, like about being in the moment, like you're talking about, you know, needing to actually experience our moment. So what I liked about the Ferris wheel, which is everybody's like favorite scene. You know, it is really a metaphor for zooming out and then looking at your life, because in some ways Shailja has kind of been stuck in this part of her life as well. Like, and tell me, what has Shailja been pulled to Vengurla to see actually? Is it Pradeep or is it her sister? Like, what is the...
So actually, she's not gone to see either. She's gone to revisit herself. So when I was writing the story, three of us in my mind was not Pradeep, Dipankar and her, was her version of herself in the past, present and the future. So
Girl.
So she's actually gone to meet herself as a child for the last
I'm
time.
going to cry, Pew. Go away.
So this is what, in my mind, the story was about.
Wow. Well, that's really so sad.
So it's like you meet and say farewell to that version who she had forgotten about. And she wants to, which is why it's, all the people are talking about her, if you remember.
Yeah.
She's meeting that version of herself from everybody's perspective, whether it's her teacher, whether it's Pradeep, whether it's her house. It's her visiting herself for the last time.
Yeah, I mean, they're talking about her, what a badass she was and stuff. Like, you know,
Exactly.
there she's all like sophisticated and calm and like
Yeah.
collected. And then actually she was like a total like Daku running around Vengurla.
But you know, the lovely part of the story is that it meant different things to different people. But this is what I was writing, honestly. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to The Swaddle. They're the best podcast in town. I added my own thing.